My name's Tom Coleman. I went over to Southeast Asia as a second lieutenant, actually, and then got up to a first lieutenant there after being in country for a couple of months there.
What year was that?
This was 1969 and 70. I got over to Nakhon Phanom, Thailand in October of 1969. And stayed there till August of 1970.
Now, who did you wind up, which squadron were you in when you first got there?
I was in the 602nd Special Operations Squadron. There were 3 squadrons there at NKP at the time. There was the 1st, the 22nd, and the 602nd.
Okay.
At that time, there was a 6th fighter squadron in Pleiku, but they closed that down within a month after I got there. And
That was part of all pulling everything back to Nakhon Phanom, so you had all the A1s in one place.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. And so you had a special experience. You did some very unique flying that we really haven't covered much. In a lot of our interviews, I think only one other person's even alluded to it. There was a lot of night missions that went on.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and not unique to me. I mean, the A-1, you know, is as you've discovered here, is a very versatile airplane, and you know, we would do close air support, we'd do helicopter escort, we'd do interdiction over the Ho Chi Minh Trail, we would do search and rescue. Certainly, we would do cover for the ground teams that were put in Laos.
It really was like a Swiss Army knife
Oh.
of airplanes. It could do just about anything you needed.
Oh,
it to
absolutely.
do.
And then, of course, the war lasted from the early 60s to the early 70s, and so the employment of the A-1 was different in different time frames. So you'll talk to somebody in the early 60s, and they had one experience working with the Vietnamese, and then you talk to somebody at the very end of the war, and they stopped basically all flying except in support of search and rescue because they had run out of airplanes. They lost all their airplanes.
Yeah, the plane itself was developed at the end of World War II. It saw a little bit of service in Korea, but boy, it really shone in Vietnam. But they burned through those, and I remember at some point they went back to Douglas Aircraft and said, "Can you build us more?" And Douglas Aircraft said, "It's cost prohibitive."
Yeah. Well, and actually they were used quite a lot by the Navy in Korea, and then in between Korea and at the start of Vietnam, the Navy stopped using the A-1 as their primary strike aircraft and started transferring them to the Air Force because it was a counterinsurgency specific airplane. It worked great for that. So yeah, we lost a lot of airplanes at the height of, as I mentioned, there were 3.5 squadrons if you count Da Nang there. Well over 100 airplanes, and we were losing an airplane a week there at the height of the war. Fortunately, we'd lose about one pilot every 2 weeks or so on average.